Yo, hello and welcome. This is Nine Innings In, a podcast that reminds us that baseball is more than just a game and fandom is forever. You can find us on Sideline Sports and everywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Vincent Perrault, and my baseball fandom was sealed the day my parents met at a baseball field. And this is a series that will tell the stories highlighting the passion for our favorite pastime. Our guest today is a current co host of the extremely popular Red Sox podcast, Section 10, Mr. Steve Perrault. Steve, how's it going?
It's going great, Vince. It's great to see you. Great to talk with you. Obviously, loved all the baseball stuff that we've done in our existences and been lucky enough to do together briefly. I love the format, by the way. I gotta say, when you sent, because you always do your homework. When you sent the notes over, I was like, I love this 9 inning thing. I love the questions. I love everything about it. I should have never doubted Vince's preparation. I mean, obviously the prep is always there, but I was just excited because I love segments. I love topics. Sometimes with our podcast, we just kind of ramble, and I'm like, I kind of want to get it back on the rails. This is the format's incredible. So appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man, of course. And yeah, I mean, it's you've talked, we've both talked a lot of baseball, nitty gritty, but it's a little bit different when you're kind of telling that journey of how
Hmm.
you got to where you are, where you're at, your relationship with baseball. And, as people know, this is 9 innings in, and we got 9 points of discussion to dive into. So let's get right into it with inning number one. Tell us about yourself. Who are you, and what's your relationship to baseball currently?
Yes, I am Steve Perrault, as you mentioned, co-host of the Section 10 podcast. And currently, if we're talking like currently, my relationship with baseball, it's complicated, Vince, because the Boston Red Sox just drive me nuts. And that's obviously the team we do the show for. They just fired basically everybody. They canned our guy, Alex Cora, who's a friend of the program, Jason Varitek, Pete Fatsi, the hitting coach. You go down the list. Kyle Hudson, the third base coach. I think they fired some peanut guys. Everybody's gone at this point, and so it's tricky because just to peel back the curtain a little bit, it's the first year we've gone independent with Section 10, and so we're grinding, trying to do a lot of stuff with sponsors behind the scenes, and it's more the business side than I've ever really been used to before. So while we're trying to weather the storm, behind the scenes with the show, the Red Sox are a storm. It is the ultimate storm that's going on right now on the field. So it's been a little tricky, but at the end of the day, we still do love this beautiful game of baseball, and so I think we will guide our way through the storm. But right now, we're in the middle of it for sure.
Perfect. And just for people out there that maybe don't know Section 10 or you, and just a quick roundup of how you got to where you're at and what Section 10 is.
Yeah, it started, geez, 11 years ago. I was working at Nesson at the time, who have the rights to the Red Sox games. And I was realizing like TV is probably not for me. That fast pace, that live, I'm like, it's stressful as hell. Honestly, I was 23, 24 years old and just knew that probably wasn't going to be the life for me. I'll
Bro,
be
the
honest,
most
Vince.
scared I've ever been has been in a live TV studio when I had nothing to do with what was going on, and I was still extremely scared at what was going on.
Dude, it is stressful as hell. I'm sure anyone at Nesson that was there when I was there was like, "Yeah, Steve was all right." I think I was like 100 OPS plus kind of employee, maybe like a 90, but it just wasn't fully for me. But I did have a blast there and learned a lot for sure. But I was trying to look at what was kind of coming up next, and Gary Streisky, who a lot of people probably know is on SportsCenter now, was working at Nesson at the time, and he was the first guest ever on the Section 10 podcast with Jared Carrabis and Pete Blackburn, and I didn't know about Jared, even though at that point, 11 years ago, he was a big deal in Red Sox Nation. I had just never crossed paths and hadn't heard of him yet. And so I had reached out to him because Gary told me, yeah, I had a great time on the show. And I was, I'm always been obsessed with the Sox. So I was like, maybe this could be something I get into. Wasn't able to contact him on Twitter because his DMs were closed, which is crazy. But reached out to him on LinkedIn, which I don't know if I've ever done that since or if I did that before, message somebody on LinkedIn, and I kind of leaned into the fact that we both graduated from the same college at Endicott in Beverly, Mass. And was like, I'm a diehard Sox fan, would love to get involved in any way I could. He replied and was like, the timing's actually great because we're looking for a producer right now. They were only 10 episodes into the show. And yeah, fast forward to now, we just did episode 613 last night. So it's been quite a journey and some ups, some downs, but I'm glad we're at the point we're at now, and especially with this team. I mean, you've just seen so much, right? I mean, 2018 was huge for the show, obviously, best season in team history. Alex Cora's first year, everything was buzzing. I didn't get to go on a duck boat that year, so I'm still salty about that because Jared and Coley were up there. But obviously, I've clearly let it go at this point. It's only been 8 years. But yeah, it's really just my story is to simplify it, it's Section 10. I mean, it's the podcast, it's the community we've been able to build. We're lucky enough to be able to sell a bunch of shirts. People wear them at the park. People love sending us, pictures at Fenway and their Section 10 stuff. And that community, that fan base, that's almost just a branch off of being Red Sox Nation. It's like it's kind of our own community that we've been lucky enough to grow. Is something I'm so thankful for, and it keeps me positive because, like I mentioned earlier, it's everything with the team right now is a real pain in the ass if we're being honest.
Yeah, yeah. I think when I fully realized you guys, oh, yeah, like you guys are legit, was Section 10 night at
Yeah.
Fenway Park, bro. That with the your own custom branded gear, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I still
Um,
can't believe they did that, but yes, they did that twice, and hopefully we get it again. We'll see.
yeah. All right, let's take it further back now as we step into inning number 2.
Mhm.
How did baseball enter your life?
I love this question. It was all thanks to my dad, and just to maybe not to spoil some of the further innings here, but my dad's going to be mentioned a decent amount here. I don't think I'd be doing any of this without my dad. I mean, literally, yeah, you need a dad, but like I don't think I would do any of this baseball stuff and be as passionate as I am without my dad introducing the game to me. I remember, I don't know what it's like for you, Vince, but like it gets blurry the first years of your life. You're like, what was my first memory? Like you're trying to go back, but everything I picture is baseball. Like whatever the first stuff was, it was with the big wiffle ball bat, taking pitches in the backyard, running around, making him throw me like hundreds of pitches a day. Like that had to be a pain in the ass, but he always did it. And yeah, just starting to fall in love. I'm sure it was the same with you, starting to just fall in love with certain MLB players that just stuck out to you as like as these heroes, as these like mythical beings. And you're like, I would love to be like that guy. So it really started in the backyard playing wiffle ball, my dad throwing a bunch of pitches to me, and then every birthday it was always getting that baseball themed gift, and that always just kind of grew as the years went on. But yeah, I would say in terms of like initial players that really caught my eye, Ken Griffey Jr. has always been my guy. Like regardless of I always there he is right there. He's always within about 3 feet away in a podcast studio. Um, but yeah, Griffey was always just the dude. I just gravitated towards him. That he's the coolest player of all time. Everything was smooth. I loved all the merch. I loved the shoes. The backwards hat. Like he was just the definition of what you wanted to be as a kid that was obsessed with baseball. Like, I want to be Junior. I was like, be like Mike. I'm like, no, it's be like Griffey. Like that's what we wanted to be like. So it is funny thinking that was unique to me. And then the more I've grown up, obviously over the years, I'm like, oh, so this was the the
Yeah,
experience for thousands of other kids as well. But you do feel like you have that connection. That's how. I mean, we throw around aura. Like Griffey had aura, man. Like that's he just drew you towards him, and you're like, this guy is what it's like to be a fan of the game, just watching him play. So, yeah, my dad obviously got me into it, and then obviously you just fall in love with guys like Griffey that just made you love it to another level.
yeah, yeah. You always got to have something that takes it to that level to, be in the world that we're in and just kind of, loving baseball. Um, Before we get to that, though, let's get into inning 3. And, you mentioned playing in the backyard and things like that. But growing up, what was your favorite way to enjoy baseball? There's watching, there's playing, there's video games, there's, there's a lot of different ways. What were some of those ways for you?
Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was similar for you, but it was playing the game was incredible. And I feel like I had the most fun of my life playing baseball before everyone around me started maturing and like hitting puberty and like working out. So basically, from T ball through Little League, I was incredible and then just awful after that. Like it fell off like immediately, but that was the sweet spot. It was like whatever between the ages of like 6 and 12 or 13, like those years, playing the game mattered so much more than everything else. School was the worst. I'll always think school is the worst thing ever. I get why we have it, but I hated every second of being in school and doing homework and
I'm
all
with you,
that.
bro.
It was about getting home and playing ball. That was it. It was playing wiffle ball in the backyard. It was playing catch. It was doing BP. It was obviously watching the Sox. Like we watched the Red Sox a ton growing up, and I'll give my parents credit because they realized pretty early how obsessed I was with baseball, maybe to like an unhealthy level. And they also realized pretty early on how much I hate school. So they held the Nesson subscription for the TV package against me in terms of my grades. So if I got bad grades, like we weren't getting the Nesson package, which is credit to my dad because like that's self-sabotage because then that meant he couldn't watch the games either
Yeah.
if I sucked in school. And it's like he had nothing to do with my grades, but like I'm over here like not understanding how math works and that impacted how he could watch and keep up with the Red Sox. So I now can look back on that and tip my cap to it because it was like a real, grown up thing to do by them, an adult thing to do, a parent thing to do. But yeah, I was watching the games. It was playing ball. It was Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. on N64. That was really my favorite game ever. I know everybody loved the 007 game, but like it was always getting home from school, popping that on. Hi, this is Ken Griffey Jr. Let's play Major League Baseball. The second you hear that, I'm like, oh, school's over. We're having fun. Like only fun's happening right now. And maybe you could get pizza that night. Like, my God, that would be the greatest thing ever. Normally I had to wait till Fridays for that. But yeah, that's really it. I know I kind of rambled there, but it's just a combination of it all, right? It's playing ball, it's playing the video games, it's growing that love for your favorite players. That was so much more fun than everything else. Like, yeah, other sports are great. Love playing basketball. That's great. Baseball was at a different level that was unreachable at that point.
Yeah, I'm just picturing your dad at like a parent teacher conference. Like, are you sure? Like, are you sure there's nothing you can do to get a B right now? Like, I really need this B to come through so I can watch the Red Sox
It
leave.
was always getting to the B minus. That was the
Yeah.
rules. It was like
Okay.
if it's I think at worst C plus and up, then we can keep the package. But if I was getting C's, C minus, like we're not getting this.
You've touched on a couple of things, with Griffey and the Red Sox. So, any number four is about teams and players you were drawn to. But I guess, I'm sure there's some that sticks out beyond what you've already mentioned that kind of fits the bill here.
Yeah, Nomar deserves a ton of love here. He was the guy, rookie of the year in 1997. And that back to the earlier point of like when we start having baseball memories, they really started around Nomar. Like it really kind of in terms of remembering seeing the guy at the park and starting to just fall in love with the player, not just on the TV screen, but like, in person where you're just like, that's the guy I want to be like when I grow up. Mo Vaughn deserves some love there too. Mo was kind of right before that wave of Sox championships. Mo was one of the last guys that I don't think to this day gets as much respect as he should. I mean, he won an MVP and really was the face of the team and the hit dog. He was really in that sweet spot of baseball nicknames then too. He had his own like Pizza Hut bat. So I'm like, yeah, Mo Vaughn was the man. But yeah, Nomar was the best. I mean, myself, obviously, my co-host Jared is obsessed with Nomar too. We grew up in that era where it was like we were all tapping the feet and fixing the batting gloves, playing in little league, and we just emulated it. Didn't want to step on the foul line going in and out of the game. Um, so it was everything about Nomar we were obsessed with. Got to go to his summer camp, which was great. So meeting him in person, I mean, I was peeing my pants, probably literally. It just, how nervous I was to meet him, but nicest guy ever. And that was always cool, by the way. Like Nomar, and I think Aaron Judge does this a lot too. He understands the importance of building that relationship with the young fan base and being like, look, I am not a threat. I am like, you look at me as an idol, and I am appreciative of you having my poster and coming to the games. And he understands the importance of that kid then going on to have a life of loving baseball and the role that they play in that. And so Nomar signed autographs every game. And it got to the point where it was almost more important to me to get Nomar's autograph than anything that happened in the game. Like the real game to me was getting there early and positioning myself in a spot where I could get him to sign my ball. And then if he didn't, I don't know. I just didn't have a bunch of fun at the game that night because I'm like, I didn't get Nomar's autograph, even though I already have 7 of them back home. But he was great. I mean, if you were too pushy, if you tried to force it in front of him, like he's not going to sign. Like if you waited your turn, you had a good chance of getting an autograph. So yeah, shout out to Nomar Garciaparra. He was the best. He was the absolute best, and I am still sad that it ended the way it did with the Red Sox.
Yeah, yeah. I got to root for him for a couple years here in LA. So,
Yeah, he was good with the
and now
Dubs
he's
for a
still
little bit
around.
there.
He's still around here now.
Yeah, you're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. This one little offshoot, real quick. Fenway Park, one of the more historic venues, and not just baseball, but all of sports. I'd say on my end too, like Dodger Stadium, similarly, is that.
Hmm.
Did you feel that when you were younger, or wasn't until you like got older to like truly appreciate like, oh, I got to go to like multiple games a year or whatever it was for you at like this venue?
That's a great question. I did not appreciate it until I grew up a little more. When you're a kid, everything just gets presented to you as like, this is what the kid life is. And then you, because I feel very like lucky the life I've been able to live. Like my parents have given us, me and my two brothers, like the best lives we could ask for. You know, I don't have any college debt. Like they were bringing us to games all the time. My brothers are more into acting. They fully supported that and they pushed that whole career and just they let us do what we wanted to do. And when you're growing up, you just assume every kid has the same experience. And I think it took me a little time to realize, no, we were damn lucky to go. We didn't have season tickets, but we went to a lot of games. I mean, my dad worked for a big construction company in Boston, Jay Cashman, and they kind of did the big dig in Boston, which was a whole it was a whole shit show. But that's still, you know, he was the VP of the company, and so like it was that company brought in a lot of money, that's for sure. And so they had these season tickets in these box seats, and I just assumed those are like our God given seats. I'm like, this is just where we're going to be for the rest of my life. We're in this private suite. You got chicken fingers, pizza, hot dogs, you know, whatever soda you want. I'm like, this is the life, dude. And I just assumed since I love the Red Sox that I deserve that. Yeah, thumbs up. That I like deserve to live that day to day, even though, you know, once they then, you know, gave up the seats, I think maybe to get Celtic seats or something. And I was like, wait, we don't have the seats anymore. You know, I'm complaining. I contributed 0 pennies to those seats, but yeah, that's kind of that's where it hits you. Oh, okay, Fenway's different, and you start like the older I got, the more I realized the glow on opposing fans' faces of like, whoa, this is like baseball nostalgia in a park, and it's still active, and it's not just like some monument or something. So. Um, it's been cool to go to a lot of parks. I think I've been to about 18, 17 or 18 now. I'm sure you love that experience too, checking off new parks on the list. And I think that's when it's really set in. Fenway's different. I mean, I'm biased as hell, obviously. Like I've been to like 1,000 games there. So like of course I'm gonna say Fenway's the greatest, but I'm trying to not to fast forward too much, but I'm trying not to take it for granted now that I'm 35 years old and like we kind of part-time work at Fenway. Like I don't want it to feel like a job. Like I still want it to feel like this is really cool that I get to be here.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of do that, but you know,
Yeah.
you well, I will keep finding out that, like, you know, when you love baseball, it's hard to really make it feel like a job
Yeah,
to a certain extent. So,
it's true.
so now inning number five, you know, this can be a wide range of answers, especially for somebody like you. What was that moment you realized, like, oh, baseball is it? Like, I'm forever gonna be a fan of this game.
It was when I was playing in Little League, honestly. Because like T-ball was great, and I think that's when I knew, and my dad knew, like, oh, he's obsessed with this. Because I was like turning triple plays and like knew the game at a level that the other kids didn't. Like you'd have someone like picking
Calling
the
infield
grass.
flies.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, no, that's not. I literally was like correcting the kid umps that they had. I'm like, that's not the right call here at all. Like he left early. He left third base early. But yeah, you got kids picking grass in the outfield and that didn't really care. And then I just really cared so much. But then when it got to Little League, it felt like we were our own version of the majors. Like, because everyone, maybe not everyone, but like all our friends were in Little League, and we all took it so seriously. And credit to the Hingham Journal, my hometown, Hingham, Mass. They would update. They had a whole sports section, and then they had a whole like page dedicated to Hingham Little League. And so you'd have the standings updated every day. You'd have little blurbs on the kids that were like doing really well. If my name got in the paper, I'm like, I'm a Hall of Famer. Like I basically knew at that point, like, yeah, I'm gonna be the greatest player of all time. Seeing your name printed in the newspaper, I'm like, this is what it's all about. Like blood, sweat,
Yeah.
and tears, even though like none of those existed. It was the best. Like getting to do that, make a couple all-star teams. That's when baseball was the most like ingrained in my DNA. I mean, it still is for sure, but just like the idea of playing it gives you that extra oomph of going to get the equipment, getting that new bat, getting the new cleats, and winning some ball games with your friends was like, yeah, this is what it's all about. I mean, that combined with around that time is when Barry Bonds was chasing the all-time home run record or whatever, single season home run record. Um, Obviously, a couple years prior, was the Sosa McGuire home run chase. That kind of took it to a whole nother level where my parents would let me stay up for some of those games that were in September during the school year to see that and getting to watch Big Mac. Past Sosa while Sosa was there in St. Louis. Like that's like a live baseball movie that you just can't really duplicate now. Obviously, now post steroid era and being away from that a little bit. But yeah, all of that, happening at the same time was just this like potion for, yep, I'm gonna love this forever. There's no chance you can take me out of this.
Yeah, I that man, that 98. I just remember playing outside and then like my dad or mom would call me in like, "Oh, McGuire's up to bat or Sosa's up to bat." You run in, watch their at bat, and then whatever happens, and then you run back outside and keep playing. Like it, yeah, it's a moment that's like hard to top, and that's where it was all solidified.
Yeah.
Um, and now onto inning number six, moving a little bit into the now. You touched on what you're doing in section 10 and everything else, but how does baseball fit into your identity and how has that relationship with the game changed a little bit?
Yeah, it's still everything. I mean, obviously in a different form. I mean, if you had asked me when I was younger if this was going to be my full-time job, I think I was too naive to understand if you could have a job in baseball. Like I just assumed, no, well, if it's my full-time job, I'm going to be playing for the Red
Yeah.
Sox. Like that's where I'm headed, bud. Like I genuinely would have thought when I was a kid that I was going to play
Did you not
football.
see my name in the paper? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I went 2 for 3 once, so like calm down. Yeah, it's I think it took me some time to realize, and even going to college, I was trying to pick my major and it was like, oh, well, sports is in there with sports management, so let's do that. Like there's still so much I just didn't know, what the path would be. I just knew what I was obsessed with, and it was this game. Like I needed to find a way to make this the job. And, Section 10 allowed that. I mean, Nesson definitely played a big role in it just because we got to be pretty close to the team and we got World Series rings in 2013 and it was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like that checked that box for sure. But then you also had to do like Bruins highlights and cut stuff for the New England Revolution and all this and it's like I don't give a damn about any of that. But I mean up until this year basically a lot of my career has been doing work for other leagues for companies to justify also doing baseball stuff. Like it was hard just to do baseball stuff. So we're at least at a point now where we're solely focused on just this game and kind of specifically just the Red Sox. Even though baseball is dead, we obviously want to keep growing that show as well and amplify those socials. But yeah, I mean, it's still everything. It's just, and this, like, if you're in this industry, it is a grind. The business side of it can be a massive pain in the ass. And you just got to make sure that doesn't drain your love for this sport. And I think that's at times it has, and at other times it's still like to your point with the Section 10 night, like that is crazy. I can't believe the Red Sox did that. I can't believe Fenway did that. They've done it the last 2 years. Hopefully, we get to do it again this season. That's the stuff that then gives you that, like, Mario +1 mushroom, whatever, and that you just bloop right up. And you're like, okay, now I'm back. But there are times where you get really down on it, and you question if it's worth all the grind and all that. But those feelings come and go, and you just gotta ride the wave.
Yeah, I think what I really learned in the last year, you know, getting to a point where I was in the Dodgers champagne celebration when they beat the Yankees in the world, like insane.
Which
And
you deserve
then
every second of that, by the way, because like some people get in there and like, no, 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 no. I want people like Vince in there who put the time in.
and then to getting laid off and then enjoying like baseball again as just a fan for a few months, and you're like, oh, it's still hits different,
Hmm.
but it still hits. Like watching,
Yeah.
being on the couch and like changing my seat every inning to try to spark the Dodger off, like that was still all part of it, and it just kind of reminded me like at the end of the day, like whatever my career ends up being or whatever ends up happening, I'm still gonna have baseball. Like I'm still gonna
Hmm.
be there watching these games. Just a matter of do I get paid for it or not.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, this next one, I'm very curious how you're gonna go with this one. Inning number 7. One baseball take that you stand by, a hill that you will die on when it comes to baseball.
I gotta say, in prepping for this program, I paused the most on this. I gave this the most thought. I'm sure there's other ways and other, paths I can go with this one, but the one that jumped out to me the most that just pisses me off, Vince, it just drives me nuts, is when they count a steal of home when it's a double steal. That is not stealing home. Every time they say so and so stole home, no, we didn't. You steal home if you're Benny the Jet Rodriguez and you snag home when no one else is on base. That's how you steal home. It happened earlier this season, and it happens all the time. But it happened with Trevor Story. I think Marcelo Meyer was like getting caught in a rundown, and then Trevor Story stole home. He did not steal home. He was. It's basically, to me, that's like the equivalent of a defensive indifference. I'm like, this is not, the dude threw to second, and then you kind of snuck in to home plate. Like, that's not a steal at all. So it's always pissed me off. I saw it once in person, Jacoby Ellsbury, ages ago, and I caught the tail end of it because it was one of those, like, you're looking down at your phone because it's in between pitches, like I was just checking something, and all of a sudden there was just weird. I still vividly remember, it was the weirdest sound of the crowd. I was like, like everyone was like confused at the same time, and I'm like, what? And so I look, and then all of a sudden you just see him diving in. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So it's a crazy thing to see in person. It's a crazy thing to see on the broadcast. Jaron Duran did it last year in Cleveland, and that's why it just takes away from it so much if you're going to call a double steal a steal home. It's just not.
I love that answer because I feel the same way, especially when I see, a tweet or whatever, and it said, "Oh, so it's still home," and then you watch the clip, you're like, "Oh, no, he didn't really steal home. He
He didn't.
scored. He
Yeah.
advanced on the defense, going after somebody else."
I have a stupid comparison here, but it just popped in my head. There's I think it was a This Is Sports Center commercial back in the day where there's a dude waiting at the airport with like Michael Jordan or whatever, and he thinks he's gonna like meet Michael Jordan. It's just a business, this white dude that's named Michael Jordan. That's what it is. Like when you think you're gonna see like the coolest thing ever, and then it's a double steal at home. Like
Yeah,
this stinks. That's the
yeah.
same feeling.
I like that one. I like that one. All right, inning number 8. When baseball is at its best for you, what does that look like?
Pretty simply at this point, it's when the Sox are buzzing. We've never been more financially tied to this team than we are right now. If they do well, more people sign up for the Section 10 Patreon, more people buy the merch, more people watch the games, and then naturally interact with our content. It's just never been more cut and dry than it is now. I mean, for me, it's always been like go Sox, but now it's as real as possible. Like
Yeah,
now it's our job. So yeah, I would say that's up there. And also this kind of just a side note, getting credentialed for all the all-star events it's been a grind. It really has. Like it's a grind to get to the all-star game, and it feels like it's a different process every year to get approved. I wish it would be easier at this point. But just to keep it on a positive side, getting to do stuff at the All-Star game and getting access to players, like that's one of my favorite baseball things. That's like when it's at the best for me, when like you look to your right and there's Shohei Otani and you can ask him a question. He's probably the one guy you can't because there's
yeah, it's a tough
50,000
one.
people by him. But even last year in Atlanta, getting to ask Aaron Judge stuff, and you go down the list, Freddie Freeman, all the Sox guys, Crochet, even someone like Brian Wu, who isn't getting asked as many questions, and he's got just as much cool stuff to say and as much great insight as these other guys. So, yeah, I think that's kind of when it's cooking. Sox are buzzing, and you're getting all-star access and just really feeling like you're kind of interwoven into the baseball DNA.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing. I mean, especially with like us, I feel asking stuff that nobody else is asking,
Exactly.
and
Which you're the
and
king of.
yeah, and you get the best reactions, you get the best answers. Like I said, you turn some of those guys like Brian Wu or whoever not well known into they're gonna give you some stuff that they're not gonna tell nobody else or they hadn't told nobody else,
Hmm.
and it all
Very
kind
true.
of works out. So,
It's my
all
favorite
right,
stuff.
let's get to the ninth.
Yep.
This one is very easy for us, but if you had to pitch baseball to a non-baseball fan, what's that pitch?
I wrote it down and I'm gonna read it. And I don't normally do this. I
There you
normally just
go.
go off the top of the dome a little bit, combined with some notes, but we're gonna just read this, Vince. Baseball is something that ages like a fine wine if you give it time. You need to allow yourself to learn the game at your pace and let it be whatever you want it to be for you. It can be the ballpark experience, following a favorite player, getting obsessed with stats and analytics. Let it be your out of work hobby, and you will have a better life.
Whew, very poetic. That is
Mm,
beautiful.
I felt good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've similar to me. Like you've turned people onto baseball, and answered a lot of questions or whatever it is. And I think it's always fun when you get to that point where they're like watching games on their own or like asking you questions, and you're like,
Hmm.
yeah, see, it just take a little time. It's not, it's not the same as other sports, but that's why it's perfect. Like it's a little bit harder to, it's easy to learn to see exactly what's going on, but then
Hmm.
when you get into the nuances, and then when you go to the park, the saying is you see something you've never seen before.
And I will add real quick, and you know this as well. It can be a little hard to sell somebody on it that already has their sports cup filled up. Like
Yeah.
I think it's because considering it's 162, it's basically 8, 9 months of the season that you want to be locked in. You can trim that down to 6 or 7, but like it's for us, it's essentially year round.
Yeah.
So I do get that it's a big ask to be, watching all these games and feeling like you're updated and all that. But there's different levels to it. Very much like, I know we're getting used to our Patreon. We got different levels of subscriptions. There's different levels of dedication and time that you can give to the team and still feel like you're in the loop.
Yeah. And what other sport can you just be like, "Ah, I got nothing to do today. Let's turn the game on." Like, unless it's a
Yeah.
random Monday or Thursday from April to September, there's something to watch. So.
Yeah. Big time.
All right. That concludes the 9 innings. But sometimes games go into extra innings, and if we're gonna get into here,
Let's do it.
little more rapid fire. But again, if there's a great anecdote, don't let me stop you there.
Of course.
But first, baseball heartbreak.
The 1998 ALDS. It's a series that's not really talked about that much because the then Indians essentially just swept the Red Sox. I know it was like a 4-game series, but yeah, I was watching that at home and cried all night. I was 7 years old, or I guess 8 years old at that point. And that's when you think, oh, my team's in the playoffs, so they're going to win the whole thing. Like, come on, like that, my team's there. But that's when you start to realize, oh, they'll break your heart. I mean, oh, nothing tops '03, the '03 ALCS, of course, but first one was in '98.
When did you become aware of like the curse? Was that already like was
Around then, because I was asking my dad about it. I mean, that's all you heard in the Boston area, the curse of the Bambino. Like, you couldn't go a couple days without that coming up. And it just got out of control. I mean, the Yankee fans chant 1918. I mean, hell of a champ. I'll give him credit. Like, it had flow to it. It was short. It got to the point, and we had no comeback for that. Our comeback became Yankees suck, which is like just was so wrong. It was so inaccurate. They were whooping our ass, and I'm like, they clearly don't suck. That was during the stretch where they won 3 World Series in a row, and it could have been 4. So they're the opposite of sucking. I'm like, what are we doing? Well, oh, we haven't won in like 86 years. Well, you suck. I'm like, no, that means we suck. Like, what? I'll still think that's the dumbest thing ever, but I did like the Yankees suck shirt, so whatever.
I actually own one of those. Your favorite baseball moment?
If we take if we just kind of level it out to like nostalgia and something that I'll never forget, and you take like the fact that it going to a World Series is great because like the side note one, like the runner up is going to the World Series with my dad in 2013. It was game one, so it's not like we saw them clinch or anything, but that was just like an all time moment that we got to do. But yeah, it would be the 1999 Home Run Derby. I think that was the sweet spot of my obsession with baseball and just that kid love for the game. Little leagues going on at that point. Baseball summer camp because that would have been in mid July. '99 Fenway Park. My favorite player ever comes in and wins the home run derby, and my dad brought us, and we're in those, the sweet seats. I'm still in that, delusion of thinking these are going to be my seats for my entire life. It was a magical night at Fenway. It was the coolest sunset ever. It's just such a summer night. The only sad part about that night is that Nomar had, I think, 2 home runs, but Sammy Sosa only had 1, so he was better than Sosa. But yeah, McGuire kind of won the night, even though Griffey won the trophy, and I'll never forget it.
That's dope. What's the most superstitious thing you've ever done for baseball?
I'm not a massively superstitious person. I know when I was playing, it was just not stepping on the foul lines when you're running onto the field. But yeah, Nomar obviously just taught us about what being superstitious is. So I feel like by, relation to him, just as a fan, you felt like you were superstitious because of how much you supported him. But yeah, I'll probably be sitting in the exact same seat during the '04 Red Sox comeback, where it's like we all had to sit in our same spots. We couldn't mess anything up. Which is that's not rare to us. Everyone does that, but like still that felt like we were making a difference and really helping the team.
You did.
Yeah.
There's nothing that shows that you didn't.
Very true.
One thing on your baseball bucket list still.
It's to go out west, Vince, and go to Oracle Park. I have always, since I was a kid, wanted to go to that park and do a whole series, one game at the park, one game in a canoe or kayak or whatever in McCovey Cove. Um, I still look at that with just like the kid eyes, if that makes any sense, because following the Bonds chase of the single season record, I was every night I was just locked in, but I obviously wasn't able to stay up that late. 'Cause I think I was only 10. So it was like waking up. Did he hit a homer? Did he go deep? Did he hit one into McCovey Cove? And my parents hated it because MLB.com did a really cool like presentation of when he would hit a homer. They would give the distance, the exit velocity. And this was kind of pre like super analytical stuff with baseball. So it like blew my mind that they had all this information. And they'd have a really cool picture of him. And I kept printing it out. I was wasting all of our ink. But I was just keeping track of every homer as it kept getting closer to 73. Well, I guess at that point, what, 62 or wherever, 70? I lose track of where
71.
Where Big Mac ended up. 70.
He
Yeah.
had 70.
Right. So getting to 71. Right. So yeah, it was just making sure that I didn't start my day without the knowledge of whether Barry Bonds went deep or not. And just wanting, ever since I've wanted to get to that park. And when I was out there for Bleacher Report 11 years ago, it wasn't in season, so I walked around the park, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it doesn't count, people. If you didn't watch a game there, it does not count as being there.
100%.
All right. Last one. You're gonna go watch a game. You get one family member, one baseball player, and one celebrity to be with you.
Yeah, I got my dad for sure as the family member. I wouldn't be doing any of this without my dad. I would say Nomar's the player. And I try not to annoy him, but I'd want to pick his brain on some of the behind the scenes stuff that happened in '04. Yeah, I'm sure he loves talking about that. But to your point earlier, I'm just jealous y'all got him on the post game because I still think he looks smooth as hell. I still love his delivery. I love when he's talking ball. And in an alternate universe, that was always, not to be selfish here, but that was always supposed to be us. He was supposed to be like on Nesson doing post game and like, but we don't get that, which whatever. I'm clearly not upset about it. But and this might be a weird one. The celebrities, John Krasinski. I love John Krasinski, and I feel like he's kind of underrated in this space. I loved, him being Jim on The Office, and he is a Sox guy. He was actually in a commercial with Nomar like 20 something years ago,
Oh, wow.
before The Office started. So I could see him being a fun person to have there at a Sox game, and he's a very personable guy. So I feel like the combo would be good.
Perfect. Nope, that's a good one.
Mm.
All right. Well, that's it for extras, and that's it for 9 innings in this episode. Steve, before we get out, just let people know where and how they can find you or listen or watch, whatever it is.
Big time. Yeah, on the socials, it's at Steve_Perrault, and the podcast on Twitter at Section 10 Pod, and Instagram is at Section 10 Podcast. So definitely follow along because we need the support. This team stinks.
That's going to do it for 9 innings in. Remember, you can find us on Sideline Sports or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Vince Ampere, and you can find me on social media at Vincent91. Thanks for sticking around for 9 innings. We'll catch you next time.